What's good, my peoples, man? It's your boy E here. I got my do-rag all tied on, kind of all raggedy looking. Trying to fix that up, but you know I ain't here to try to impress nobody like that. But yeah, man. So just want to touch on a topic that I don't really touch on at all because I'm not really educated and well versed in what it's all truly about, or you know, that's just the necessary things of general, basics about it. I don't really know too much about it, but I've been hearing about it. I just haven't, dived into trying to look into it as much as a lot of other people have. But I just want to speak on this thing called remote neural monitoring. Or is it remote? I think it's remote neural monitoring. And and it's supposed to and this shit here is supposed to be ran by AI or something like that. And if you think about it, this technology with the things I've heard that it is capable of doing, I can see why motherfuckers are so in a God complex and so ego driven about how within themselves about just how they feel about being able to have some sort of hand into this shit. You know what I'm saying? And because see, from what I'm hearing about it is these motherfuckers are able to program thoughts into your mind. These motherfuckers are able to create feelings within you and shit like that. These motherfuckers can do all type of shit with this, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, they got some sort of mind control shit happening with this shit as well. And then not only are, the people who are in high places using this shit, they are allowing other people who are civilians or just people who are just that they have used as pawns to, work with this motherfucking technology as well. So, and then you gotta understand, when we see so many synchronicities within the people that we run across, and how people just pop up on us so easily, you know what I'm saying? How people get these text messages so damn on point, you know what I'm saying? These things just coming out so with so much. Everybody is doing things in so much of an impeccable timing. It makes you kind of understand that why they are so on point, you know what I'm saying? You be like, these are motherfucking humans, man. How the fuck are these humans able to be so, on point, so predict, certain outcomes, certain areas, certain places that you would go and shit. And then it just kind of like slides into my mind that, with AI, the system of AI, man, that's a computer, man. That thing works very efficient, very much efficient, more efficient than humans do. And so when you have some sort of technology like that under your control, and you're actually, involving people to be able to use this as well as you, you know what I'm saying? They're able to know, they're able to anticipate certain things about you that you wouldn't be thinking that they are anticipating, because your mind is not very, very much banked on understanding or even looking in that direction if you're not informed on it. And a lot of this shit, I never looked at it like that. And to me, it's still like all of this shit is still like a new age modern time witchcraft and black magic type shit in my eyes too. I still look at it from that standpoint, you know what I'm saying? I still look at it from a spiritual standpoint, because whoever is controlling or whoever is behind the situation of this whole outcome of this program, you know what I'm saying, whoever is behind it has a spirit that is controlling them to do these things, you know what I'm saying, to use this machine, this AI control, and then when I think about a lot of things, man, when I think about all my situations, my drug addiction, when I fell off, it's a lot of times where, there were just thoughts that popped up in my head, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't even thinking about these things. It just popped out of nowhere. Urges just come out of nowhere. Just the strong urges. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, my shadow side has taken hold of me, and I'm back into the field of doing some shit that I wasn't intending on or wanting to do in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I was, you know what I'm saying? But see, the thing about that is God has always been with me even throughout that time. You know what I'm saying? And even this last time when I fell off, you know what I'm saying? I can remember these series of events happening, and I can see why they made them happen. Because see, in this time and phase of my life, I was basically, I was pretty strong headed about not going back into that, not doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? I was pretty strong minded and keeping myself away from that drug and not intended on going back into it. But you know what I'm saying, when you have forces that cause certain events in your life to happen, you know what I'm saying, and sometimes they do these things just to, you know, just to make you a bit weaker in as far as like what you would do or what you would let you know what I'm saying, mislead you, or what you would let you know, influence you, you know. Because all right, like I told y'all, remember when my car got towed, you know what I'm saying, I couldn't work, and then when I was working at this one place, they started sabotaging my money. They started stopping me from making money. They made it to where I got evicted out of my house, to where I couldn't pay my bills, and all of that shit together brought me in a low place, a low form of just being, you know. Even though I was still believing, you know, God probably had something better for me, I was still in a low state. I'm still human, so I still feel shit. And so in that state, you know what I'm saying, this thought just came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere, saying like, you're already in a low state, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you might as well get high one more time, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what's the worst that can happen, you know what I'm saying? And as that thought came into my mind, you know what I'm saying, my shadow side, it's like my shadow side grabbed that thought and held on to it, right? And so, as my shadow side held on to that thought, this urge, this feeling started to just progress and grow strong inside of me. And I'm like, and I'm trying to shake this shit off, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to shake this shit off. And it's like, you know, I couldn't. Before I knew it, my shadow side took hold, and guess what? I was in my phone trying to find a way to get high. You know what I'm saying? Before I knew it, you know what I'm saying? And I can understand the events that they played on me to actually cause this reaction to even be that strong within my mind, and to allow my shadow side to want to take over, you know what I'm saying? Which is why, even though this had happened to me, you know, I can see God being a part of God, knowing that it was going to happen, and it was supposed to happen in a way. Because, you know, like, if this is what they're doing to us, if this is what they're trying to do to us, you know what I'm saying, like, I would have never been able to correlate this to the neuro monitoring thing that I've been hearing about, you know, if I wouldn't have never went through this shit like this. You know what I'm saying? For me to be able to see how they actually did, how that could have happened in my life, like, it's just the fact of the puzzle being able to fit in a certain place that I kind of didn't see it fit, that I didn't see what puzzle could go there at that point in time. But you know what I'm saying, like, I guess certain information comes to you in certain times of your life to actually, you know what I'm saying, connect dots to certain areas. And so, you know, a lot of times, see, we don't even know if God's working or not. So sometimes, see, a lot of this shit, when it was happening, I was just thinking, okay, I just fucked up, you know, and yeah, okay, so I did, you know what I'm saying, but I didn't know it was being, you know what I'm saying, manipulated by a machine, by, you know what I'm saying, by people who wants to use something to actually, you know what I'm saying, inject certain thoughts, certain feelings within me to create an outcome, a choice of me doing something. It was still my choice, but you know, I had something to influence that, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't think about it that way, because I didn't really look into that shit like that. But once I started looking into other people talk about this shit, you know, and I started seeing, like, damn, that's how that makes sense. Because you know what, if they're able to actually do this to us, you know what I'm saying, like, I can actually see how that whole situation, how they created that whole situation to create a feeling and to make it strong enough, because in that state of being, in that state, in that time, in that point in time, my mind was pretty strong on not trying to do that shit. So they had to create a series of events to actually bring me down a notch, to actually be a little bit more vulnerable to the to what they actually was doing with that neural monitoring shit. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I would get thoughts, but I shake them off. You know what I'm saying? But at this point in time, after all those series of events happening, that kind of like maybe put me down into this. My bad, y'all. My space ran out, but I had to delete some shit. But back to what I was saying. So, you know, after those series of events happening, you know, it put me in a low state of mind to where I was actually susceptible to these thoughts and these way of feelings that they were able to place upon me, to actually take control, you know. And so, you know, in a way, I could say that, you know, I wouldn't have been able to correlate that shit if you know, I wasn't supposed to go through that shit. You know what I'm saying? I started to think like, you know, maybe, see, because if I feel like God is always working with us, even when we're going through good shit and when we're going through bad shit. You know what I'm saying? So even when you're going through bad shit, there's always something that you're going to get out of that bad situation. And so me going through this bad situation actually was able to help me put certain pieces of the puzzle together. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, in a way, I get it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, God, you know, he works in very mysterious ways. See, people would think that God wouldn't even allow you to fall back into a situation. But sometimes he might just allow that to happen just so you can get something out of it and be able to relay it to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what I'm seeing with this here thing called remote neural monitoring. And so, man, I'm not gonna lie, man, it's some hoe ass shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And I can understand the work of this shit actually putting people on their high horse, boosting people's egos, making people have this God complex and feeling like, we're above and beyond. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? But you know, this is the thing. See, this is what God would allow as well. God would allow you to feel like you're above and beyond, just so when the time is right, he gonna drop you right on that ass, right? And he really gonna show you who was above and beyond. You know, you just felt like you was. I gave you that feeling. You can have it for right now. Go ahead, hit rock with that shit for a minute. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It marinate in that feeling for just a second, because when I take it from you, you know, you're gonna feel like you fell on a bush full of thorns, and your ass gonna be hurting. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure you enjoy this feeling for a second, because the feeling you're gonna feel after that is really gonna fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? And which is why I'm not even tripping about it. You know what I'm saying? However this shit was planned or played out, you know what I'm saying? God is working still, and I believe that, and I'm gonna stay believing that. So I just want y'all to know, man, God is still here. You know what I'm saying? Even no matter what these people are trying to do and what they use to create certain situations within your life, just know God has a bigger plan for you. God has something that is much bigger than what anybody think they are planning for you, right? And motherfuckers can maybe predict some things about you, but they can't predict the whole thing. Because I'm gonna tell you one thing: when I fell off into that drug, this is the state where I was supposed to be vulnerable, and they was supposed to be able to, you know what I'm saying, kick me hard while I was down, right? But see, I've been through this enough times. I've been through this shit enough times, and as I went through that shit, God made me strong enough to be able to handle that shit. So he built me up through all the times I went through it. So just like a time like this, when you felt like you was gonna manipulate me into getting back into this phase of being, that you couldn't do the damage you wanted to. You couldn't even penetrate me like that. Cause you know, even in that state of being, they still couldn't fuck with me. And that was what I was happy about while I was in the state of being. In that state of being, I didn't like that I was there. I did kick myself a bit, but while I was there, I found something to keep me in a better space of just being there. Because just knowing that you can't fuck with me like you thought you could back in the day when I used to be in that state made me feel pretty good about myself when I was there, even though I didn't feel good being there, period. But all things happen for a reason, man. Sometimes these things happen, and they happen just to put certain pieces of the puzzle together that God wanted you to see in the first place. So, with that being said, y'all, I'm gonna get back with y'all. I was just shooting it at y'all because this is something I just started to run across, and I just wanted to put it out there, let y'all know what's happening with it. But anyways, I fucks with you. Peace.